Hey everybody. So for today's movie review, I'm going to talk about a film that is the first family-friendly adventure from Martin Scorsese, and this film is called Hugo. And in the past, Martin Scorsese is well known for like his R-rated violent films, and I think he did some PG-13 films, but not a lot of them. But anyway, Hugo is the first family-friendly adventure from Martin Scorsese and is about a boy who lives in a train station. And what we get to know about Hugo pretty early in the film is the fact that he has a father who was an inventor, and his father had possession of a small robot called an automaton. And it's this small robot that can write and he can do things that not a lot of the early stages of robots could do. And so this automaton, Hugo possesses it, and is unfortunately one of the only probably above a few things that he has left of his father, because his father dies in a fire earlier in the film. And when his father dies, his uncle adopts Hugo unofficially, this young boy played by Asa Butterfield. And unfortunately, the uncle doesn't really live anywhere. He just kind of finds a random house or a random alleyway or whatever to just kind of survive. So Hugo's kind of on his own when it comes to living and finding food and finding water and finding, all that stuff. So he lives at this train station, and he controls the mechanics on the clocks in the train station. And what Hugo has to be aware of when he's in the train station is the security guard played by Sacha Baron Cohen from Borat fame, who would put Hugo in an orphanage if he was caught by him. But while all that is going on, Hugo meets a young girl and a this young girl's grandfather, who you'll find out later in the film is connected to this automaton robot that Hugo possesses. That's one of the few things that's left of his memory of his father. And it's important that Hugo has to be connected with these two people because without me ruining the film, the grandfather does get a hold of the small booklet that has pictures of the automaton, and it's important that Hugo has that booklet because it's one of the few things next to the automaton that Hugo still has from his father. So throughout the film, you guys, it's about Hugo Cabaret, this young boy living in a train station, trying to figure out the mystery of the automaton. What is it? Where did it come from? Why was it created? He finds out all the purposes of why it exists throughout the film. So Hugo, you guys, like I said, this is the first family-friendly adventure from Martin Scorsese, and it's a good film. I can see why it was nominated. I can see why it was nominated, for art direction and cinematography and all the nominations that it had at the Academy Awards, and it did win some of them. I can see why the art direction won because you'll see throughout the film there's a lot of early years of filmmaking, like silent film and the first color films in color, and all of them are very beautifully made. And you almost question if Martin Scorsese actually went out and filmed some of this stuff, like took an old camera and actually went out and filmed it. Some of them I know are films that are actually already existing films, but you also question if Martin Scorsese had his own twist on some of these because I did not recognize some of the footage that you see throughout these films when Hugo and this young girl played by Chloe Moretz from Kick-Ass fame are watching these movies. So Hugo, you guys, as much as the Academy Awards raved this film and gave it great reviews and nominated it for a lot of things and gave it awards, I must say there are quite a few flaws of Hugo, and some of those flaws are I didn't think Sacha Baron Cohen's character was very well developed. There were some scenes where I was trying to think to myself, is he trying to be funny? Is he trying to be strict and serious and kind of this dangerous person to be around? I wish Martin Scorsese wrote his character better because I really did not know or find a purpose to why his character existed in this story. And when you find out more about Ben Kingsley's character, who plays the grandfather of the young girl, you almost start to begin to realize too that there really wasn't a point for this character to exist in this film to begin with. Um, Another problem I had with this film, and like I said, the grandfather plays an important part of this film, of the young girl played by Chloe Moretz, and this guy's played by Ben Kingsley, the grandfather. You start to realize how important he is to the automaton and to the actual story itself in Hugo later on. And I'm almost starting to question after I saw this film, was this story about Hugo or was this about the grandfather? Or was it about Hugo's contribution to this grandfather and kind of how Hugo was significant in this whole story of this grandfather. So I almost wish Scorsese almost chose a direction, I guess, because there was what I pretty much saw here was two stories in one movie. And even though it was nice to kind of have both of them interweave with each other, I almost wish Scorsese found a way to make them both feel like they were one and the same. So that could have used some work. Another thing, and I guess this isn't about the film, but I almost wish the Academy Awards didn't nominate it as much as they did. I really did not think it was that good. Shot wise, it was great. There's a really unique shot of the train station at the beginning of the film that was very well done. Um, there was a lot of shot wise, it was fine. I guess I can see why it won the cinematography and all that. Um, yeah, it's just one of those films where I felt it was a little overhyped. It was a little overrated. It is a good film. It is worth seeing. I'm probably not going to own it. I know a lot of people will, though. Um, After seeing this film, I think it's quite reasonable why Scorsese has made films the way he has over the years. Because in my opinion, I think he's better at making those kind of films like Shutter Island and Raging Bull and all the stuff that he's well known for. Um, it was nice to see him try something new, but I can kind of see why this is kind of his first film of going this direction because to tell you the truth, I kind of like his old filmmaking style better than this new one. So I'm hoping his next film is more along the line of, Shutter Island and all that stuff. But Hugo is still a good film, you guys. It's just a little overhyped in my opinion. And like I said, there'll be times in the film where you almost ask yourself, how many stories does Scorsese want to have in this? So Hugo, you guys, I give it an 8 out of 10. It is a good film, but just be warned, it's probably not as good as what you've been hearing about.